Hello, something guys and gals. This is Lance in the flesh. Something guy. Lance something guy 912 Hammond. Yep, that's my middle name. Okay, well, let's get to serious face here. Or brass tacks, or first things fucking last, or whatnot. So, a few, I don't know, months or years ago, I made a video about how to address Anita Sarkeesian properly. Not to, say you're gonna fucking rape her and whatnot. Now, I know that it is extremely unavoidable for some people to do that because they're just going to troll on and they're going to keep doing it. But, nevertheless, if you're trying to bring up any poignant statements to counter hers, you can't do it on her video because she's going to block the comments, which evidently does not give her a reason to complain about the troll comments. And yet she still does it. She still complains about that. That's the first point I need to bring up, is that while she can complain about troll comments and say that troll comments are validating the stark feminism in video games, she's already blocked the comments, so there's no way for her to get access. Unless she tries to find videos like this one right here, about how I'm pointing out the problems with her points and the process of making her video. That's just one thing of many fucking fault lines. Second, she thinks she's a journalist. She says she's a journalist. She continually says she's a journalist. If that's so, Anita, why is it that you start your tropes versus gaming by making the conclusion first and then saying facts? That can't be a fact-based article. It has essentially become an editorial once you say that, because now you are representing yourself by the base. You're acting upon emotion rather than fact. You're making the statement and finding evidence, even if the evidence is not actually true, that support your opinion. It'd be like me saying Justin Bieber's gay and then going on with like 20-minute clip of just him sounding like a fucking girl. And that's the best substantial evidence that I got. Yet he's been out with other women. He has been caught in like brothels and whatnot. I mean, yeah. Like I said, if you want to be a journalist, Anita, you have to make facts first before you make the conclusion. So it'd be like, is there a tropes versus women in video games? That's the question. It's a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a usually question that you try to find the answer to. You don't need to find, and you may not like that the hypothesis answers the question the way you didn't want it to. If it says, no, there isn't feminism, there isn't a trope with women in video games, you may not like that, but unfortunately, you can't just deny it and say it's wrong if you use the scientific method correctly. Another thing, point B of point 2 of your journalist thing, is that journalists need to provide citations, whether it's by a digital article, a digital video, or a physical article. You have to provide citations for the content you provided. And you have stolen a shit ton of content, which, well, I'll get to point number 3 soon enough about that. But you've stolen a shit ton of content, and not once have you provided any citations. You've taken it as if it's your own fucking work. Okay, point number 3. If you are stealing content from these video games, from these video game clips, and then deciding to cut them in particular areas to support your statement, where exactly does the $156 that you got for your Kickstarter tie in to any of the production design, the games you had to buy, the consoles you had to own, or the tools or devices you had to use to record it. If you were just going to go straight away and steal content from other people, and if you stole content of clips from other people, then you didn't need to use that money. You didn't need that money for consoles and video games in the first place. So where the fuck does the money come in? The production design has not been approved, and as like I said, as far as we know, you haven't needed even if you did use some of that money to buy consoles, you clearly use video game clips, so it's not necessary for you to buy the video game consoles or the video games in the first place. And even then, if you did, it's still not a very expensive thing to buy. And it's not like you need the HDMI recording devices either, because like I said, clips! You stole fucking clips! You don't need fucking money to run a program that you already fucking own to do the video editing. And cut out the particular spots that would show that you're a fucking scammer and stealing other people's clips. And point number 4. Why are you clipping out particular parts of content that support your fucking prejudice? You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to fucking do that. You're supposed to show the whole thing in context. You can't just show a fucking woman getting beaten if in the greater context of the video everyone's getting beaten, not just fucking women. And suppose that, Mario is fucking sexist, yet Mario is a fucking blue-collar plumber who's apparently the only person who can save Princess Peach, which she's in a state of power, and you see that as fucking dismal tropes versus women. And yet, the whole damsel in distress is not just indicative of women, it's just indicative of the 80s style of gameplay, because there wasn't that much advancement to it. Point number 5. If you're going to say that there's tropes in women in video games, why is it that you always wear those, necklace ties, and you have your fucking lipstick, and you have low-cut t-shirt to show your cleavage, huh? Don't you see how that's kind of fucking, what's that word I'm thinking of? Hypocritical to the entire point that you're making? It's like you see it perfectly fine to objectify your own self, but when video games are supposedly objectifying other women in video games, you see it as wrong. You don't see the fallacy there, right? I mean, you can have your makeup if you want, but if you're going to make that statement, you should realize the immediate hypocrisy of your own statement within the fucking first 5 seconds of the video that you're watching, the video that you're creating. The only thing I can't imagine that, going back to point 4, I think that was the whole production design thing. No, that was point 3. The only money that I can't imagine you used was for a camera, a stand, and some lights. But that doesn't even get close to the $6,000. Does not get close to $156,000 you got on Kickstarter, much less the $6,000 that you only needed for the goal to begin with. Not to mention your Kickstarter is still fucking open, for all things considered. It's just baffling to me. Point 7. If you really wanted people to consider the whole tropes versus women in video games, why is it that you disable the comments? Or, more to put it, once you disable the comments, you are showing that you don't give a shit if people change their opinions or not. You are saying that your point is extremely valid. So valid it cannot be refuted. And people are just going to see it as it is an egotistical little bitch who cannot be taken seriously at this point. Right on the start, when you see the disable comments thing, I've let comments flow, and when I'm done conversing with someone, I'll let them know. but I don't disable the comment field. I mean, sometimes I might even get back into the conversation to make a better point. But I've never had to silence anybody. If I don't want to hear what somebody has to say, I'm just going to ignore them. It's simple as that. It's the fucking internet. You don't need to disable all the comments because people are going to make points that clearly refute your statement rather than just calling you a cunt or a rapist. But once you do disable the comments, you are putting yourself at risk for looking like someone who does not give a shit if anyone has a dissenting opinion and that your opinion is supposedly better. So, it doesn't matter if your shit is well researched or if you use actual game clips. You are acting yourself in a state of extreme confirmation bias and love of your own fucking idea that, there are tropes in women in video games. When there are plenty of fucking strong female characters and anyone, a 5th grader, could refute your points right at the bat, like I did. So that was, I lost count. I think point number 7. I'm trying to think of the other fucking points to make. I think that's it. I honestly think that is it. 7 good points. Number 1, about, why is it that you are allowed to feed the trolls if you have disabled comments and clearly can't see any of those trolling statements? And that the only way you're going to see trolling statements is from videos like me refuting your points because you've decided to silence people of dissent. Second, you are really, if you're a journalist, you're a shitty ass fucking journalist because you don't provide citations and you make a statement before making evidence rather than evidence support a conclusion, not your conclusion. Thirdly, where did the money go? Your money clearly did not go into any of the production design or the video games or the content if you need to steal video game clips from other people. 4, it's so indicative of you to take these clips out of context to support your own prejudice. 5, realizing the hypocrisy of saying that women are being objectified when you are dressed up like someone who could be objectifiable. With the whole necklace and the fucking the earrings and the lipstick and the low-cut t-shirt. And how you're always well-groomed and shit like a woman supposedly should. And fucking part 6. That once you do disable comments, you are pretty much immune to saying, you pretty much assume that you are immune to any other dissenting opinion, which means that your opinion is already bullshit, no matter even if you did research it well, because you have decided that your opinion is greater no matter what, that is completely infallible, and that if anyone says otherwise, that supposedly validates your opinions even more. So that's 6 points. Sorry, there's no 7 point. I was trying to find a 7 point, but I didn't. But yes, those are the points that you can bring out against Anita Sarkeesian. Some of them blend together, but more or less they stand on their own set. And I know she has been completely silent about this. She's not being open about what production, what the money went to, or being honest with us and saying that she did steal content without giving credibility or citations to them. And that she didn't need the money to begin with when she already had the production design steady and it did not improve unless she had to pay $150,000 to own the content of the color pink for her video slide transitions. I don't know, maybe. But yes, those are the points you need to bring up, not, saying she should go fuck herself or whatnot. Thank you.